Wow, it has been a crazy week. Oh my gosh, I spent 4 days sick. I have been trying to get a video out to y'all, but it just didn't happen. But today, it's happening, finally. Da, 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 da. Today is a beautiful spring day outside. Absolutely gorgeous sun, and it's been raining, so everything's wet and growing, and it's time to start planting. And the berries are starting to come up, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the spring harvest. And maybe you're looking for a fresh recipe, just like I did recently, to use all those berries for. Now, I've had a recipe for a long time that I want to share with you that is a great way to use fresh spring berries. It's in a cheesecake. I call this the berry decadent spring cheesecake. So today, that's what we're gonna make. And I've got all the ingredients set out. I'm going to go through those and show you how to make it. And I really hope you enjoy this video. So if you're looking forward to it, stick around. Okay, before we go any further, let's look at all these beautiful ingredients. So the first thing you're going to need to know is what to do for your crust. So I like to use whole cluster oats, but if you can't find those, the granola works very well, and I specifically like the kind healthy grains with the toasted coconut for this particular cake. You are going to use some pecans. We're going to chop them twice. We're going to do 1/3 cup finely chopped and 1/8 cup kind of chunky chopped. We're going to use 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 stick of butter. Remember to soften that to room temperature, and go ahead and wash those homegrown farm fresh eggs and get them ready. We're going to use 1 egg white in our crust. Now for our cake itself, it's a little bit more complicated. The first thing we need are 4 blocks, that's 8-ounce blocks each, of cream cheese. That can be Philly or whatever brand you want. Now you're going to need some soft cheese. In addition to that, brie works if you're looking for a less expensive option, but I really like this particular cheese. It's called Le Fromagère, and the reason I like it is it tends to be just a little bit sweeter, and it is just so soft. You can see how soft this is. I mean, it is micro buttered soft, but Fromagère de Auvergne, I believe is how that's pronounced. I think it's French. I found this at H-E-B, and you're going to need about 0.4 pounds altogether. We're going to use a lot of sugar. This is 1.5 cups of sugar. Our berries, you'll notice there's 2 cups altogether. It's about, I don't know, about 1/2 cup of raspberries and about 3/4 cup of blueberries and 3/4 cup of strawberries. Again, we're going to need some more egg whites. Altogether, we're going to use 4 large eggs for the filling. We're going to use 1/3 cup of butter. Again, soften it. We're going to have some extracts as well. We've got vanilla and raspberry in here. That is altogether 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of raspberry. And then over here are our seasonings. So we've got orange peel. That's 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. And then you'll notice this one here. This gives it kind of like a little bit of a floral aroma. I really like how it works. When you're looking for essential oils, be sure to get the pharmaceutical grade or edible grade. You know, make sure that it's edible and safe to eat. But we're going to use about 5, maybe 6 drops of lavender extract altogether. When it's all done, we're going to do a swirl effect using 4 berry spread. I really like this More Fruit spread by H-E-B. You can, of course, use your own. If your spread is thick, you might want to thin it out, and you can do that with about 1/2 teaspoon of maple syrup. But otherwise, that's why I like this. It's just the right consistency, and it works really good in this cake. That is altogether 4 tablespoons, comes up to maybe 1/3 cup. All right, so let's start preparing our crust. So we're going to start by getting some pecans chopped up. So remember, we need 1/3 cup finely chopped. Perfect. And we're just going to go ahead and put that in our bowl. And now, need about an eighth a cup coarsely chopped. So to get an eighth a cup, a quarter cup, half of that. That looks about right. And we're just gonna set that in the same green bowl. Okay, after your pecans comes your granola or your oat clusters. Now those need to be pretty well chopped up as well. Pretty good and chopped. Now we need about 15 ounces. These kind bags are about 11 ounces. So it takes one whole one of them plus just like a little bit more. And we want this to be really fine. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we've got our granola and our pecans in a bowl, and we're going to go ahead and add our sugar. And we're just going to stir those together by hand so that everything is kind of evenly spread there. And you can see it's really pretty actually already. All right, so there's our sugar, and now we're gonna go ahead and add our butter and our egg white. Remember, 1 egg white. So all that right in there. And this is where I pull out the mixer. All right, the idea is to get everything nice and wet and completely covered so that when you crunch it together, it kind of forms and holds together. So we're gonna go ahead and put this like, blah! Not tear up my kitchen. Knock everything over. So we're gonna take our springform pan. I got my big springform pan, and we're gonna take our crust and we're gonna put it all in the bottom and just press it down really, really good so it makes a nice layer on the bottom here. And I'll show you that when I got it all in here and done. Now, the springform pan was sprayed and floured before I did this, so don't forget to spray and flour your springform pan. And the idea is to just really press it down nice and solid. It's gonna make a nice crunchy crust. And even, that's the other trick. All kinds of stuff to this. You can put cranberries in this. You can put, I mean, remember it's already got coconuts in it, so you can put any kind of nut, really. Walnuts, if you don't want to use pecans, you can use walnuts. But the idea here is to get this pressed in nice and firm and even. Yeah, that looks great. Let me show you that. So that's what it looks like once the crust is in. So the next step is for us to go ahead and get our pie crust in the oven. We're gonna bake it at 375 for about 12 to 15 minutes or so. Yay, the crust is done. It looks so beautiful. My favorite part about this crust is that it has got so much flavor and it is not super hard. It looks hard, but it's actually pretty soft. It's kind of like an oatmeal cookie on the bottom there with like a little bit of a bark around the ring there. No big deal. Looks wonderful with the cheesecake. Now we just need to cool it completely and get our filling ready to go on the top, and then pour it on there and bake it, and then it's done. I can't wait. Okay, remember that fancy French cheese fromagère? So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually cut the skin off. See, it comes with this white skin right here, which is tasty, don't get me wrong, but not great in a cheesecake. But the filling is so creamy, that cheese in there. So that's real easy to do. You just slip your knife in between there and run it up along the underside of the cheese, and it'll just cut right off.
Okay, we're finally at the filling stage. So the first step is going to be after you cut the white off the cheese and you chopped up your fruit so they're nice and little dices, is to go ahead and start mixing together your cheeses. So we've got our fromage there and our Philly in here along with our butter. We're going to use our whisker. And there it goes. Let's try not to make a mess. Periodically stop and scrape down your sides so that you're being sure to get everything mixed in. Pull the stuff out of there. You want it all blended really, really evenly. Wow, that fromage there and the butter just soften that Philly up like crazy. That is pretty. Real pretty. Now what we're looking for is for it to be light and fluffy and even, and then we're going to add our sugar just a little bit at a time. This looks really good. That is just super smooth, light and airy, and that's exactly what we want to see. So we're going to go ahead now that we've got our sugars, our cheese, and our butter all melted together, and we're going to add our egg whites next. So remember, this is 4 egg whites. Scrape your sides. It's really good already. It's gonna make a beautiful cheesecake. And now we're gonna add our vanilla extract and our raspberry extract. Those drops of lavender extract. So remember, just 5 or 6, so you just count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably closer to 7, but it'll be all right. And then while this is going, after a minute or 2 and it's well blended, we're going to add our spices. Alright, we're ready to go ahead and add our last object, our last ingredient. That's the berries. Yay. So go ahead and scrape off this really good. We're not going to use it again. We don't want to pulverize our berries. They're already, remember, chopped up and minced really fine. You want teeny tiny little berries. Just like that. But we are going to switch out for our batter. One. Which will kind of fold the bit, if I can get it to go on. There it goes. Which will fold the berries into it. So, let me show you these berries. These are the raspberries, and you can just see how tiny they're chopped in. All the different berries are chopped this finely in here, so you really want them small is the point. Like, really, really small. You can use a chopper. I like to do it by hand because it turns out prettier, but there it is. So, just all those beautiful berries in there. Oh, that smells so good already. Here we go. So down, tighten. And we're just going to fold these in gently. We don't want to beat them up. We just want to get them blended even. That looks good to me. Alright. Out that comes. Scrape it off real good. That's pretty. That's real pretty already. We haven't even done the marbling yet. Got it all over my thing. Alright, our very last step before we actually pour it into crust is to create that marbling effect. So remember that jam? We're just going to gently take like a dollop here, a dollop there. And we're going to swirl very gently. We're not going to stir it in like hard. Now this jam is room temperature. When it actually sets up, it'll gelify. And that's it. That's all we want to do. You don't want to touch that jam too much and actually stir it in. That is perfect right there. Okay. Check our pan. That is room temperature. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, so all I'm doing is just spreading it out in this pan, kind of smoothing it a little bit. Like that. There it is. So the marbling's not super powerful marbling. You can see that it is pretty. I like it. I think it turns out very lovely when it's done. Got kind of a pinky effect with all the berries and stuff. So next step is to get it in the oven. We're going to continue to use that 375 setting, and everything's mixed in there. It's poured in the pan. We're going to bake it on the middle rack for 30 to 40 minutes, or until browned evenly on the top and just starting to separate from the sides of the pan. All right, it is out. This is exactly what we want to see. Just that little bit of pulling away from the edges there, and that nice pretty brown top. Now I don't know if you noticed, I use a trick here. This pizza plate, whatever, platter, really helps stabilize the pan when you take it out, because in case you didn't notice, it comes out really soupy. So the next step is to let it cool. And once it is cooled completely, and I do mean completely, then we can cut it up and get it separated to serve and give to our guests. I love cheesecake, and this one smells so good, y'all. I know I can't capture aroma on the camera, but if you could smell this, it's got just a little bit of vanilla and lavender with that really strong berry flavor and the cream flavor from the cheesecake. This is gonna be good. Okay, it's been about an hour, and yes, this is room temperature. So we are gonna transfer this to the fridge now, where it will finish cooling for about another hour. And at the end of that hour, we can pull it out and release our spring form and take it and cut it and get it separated to give away. Can't wait. They look so beautiful already. Okay, it's out of the fridge. It's been about an hour, maybe two, and it feels cool completely. It's got a nice, firm, like, you know, cake-like at the top here. So here it comes. I'm going to gently spin a knife all the way around the outside edge. It feels pretty good. Moment of truth. That's beautiful. That's so perfect. Okay. Yes, let me show you that. How pretty is that? That is just beautiful. Get my camera to work for me. And I'm still learning this gimbal. Next thing we're going to do is slice this up. Oh, that is just beautiful. Cut all the way through to the bottom. No problem. Real clean. One more cut. And you can just see how creamy it is. Already. Okay. Like this one. That is just so pretty. See that? Oh, and that crust is holding together quite nicely. I just gotta get my spatula under it. I can. There it goes. Beautiful. Let me show you that. How pretty that is. See all the berries and everything in there? And it is just super, super creamy. All right. I'm gonna get a sliced up of this and try it out, and then get some of these set aside for other people. Yay! All right, here it goes. Look how pretty this is. This is just a single serving, so a quarter of a cheesecake can do 2, or it can do up to 4. So I know in the down in the ingredients down below, I give the ingredients and I give instructions, and I say at the very, very end that it serves like 8 to 12, but honestly it could serve up to 15. So first thing to notice is how incredibly smooth this cheesecake is. It is so silky, y'all. Oh, that was mostly crust, but I could still taste the fruit already, and that lavender is just a wonderful little hint at the end. That is just great. Let's see the filling right here. Yeah, this one's out of the ballpark. Wonderful. Wonderful. You gotta try this. So good. Well, I dearly hope that you enjoyed watching this video and maybe even tried it along with me. Some things that I may have would have done a little different is I might have would have made the crust a little bit thinner. This one is a little bit thick, but it's not overly hard, so it's all good. This turned out to be really, really good. I love making this cheesecake. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I hope you'll give me a good thumbs up for a like. And also, if you haven't yet, we're gonna make so many other things like this, and I don't want you to miss out. So be sure to smash that subscribe button and even go ahead and hit that bell so the notifications pop up as I post the videos and you don't miss anything. So let's see, like, subscribe, oh, comment, tell me, did you try it? What'd you think? Does it look good? Do you want to cut the lavender, or do you like the floral taste? I think it adds a great touch to the cake. And as always, thanks for watching, y'all.